first piece on the program is Jingle Bells, and yeah, it's Jingle Bells. It's gonna be great. So thank you all so much for coming. I can tell I asked the kids to each invite 3 people, and I love seeing how many people are out here. It is absolutely amazing. So I am gonna let Mr. Dickerson say just a few words, and then we will get started with our first piece on the program.
Good evening, everybody. Hi. A couple of things. So this is my first year here in Jackson County, and West Jackson Middle School has been an extreme blessing for me and my family, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate each and every one of these students on stage up here and all of their hard work and effort. There are so many of them in the mornings practicing really, really hard and working to perfect their instruments, and it's really, really cool to see. I get also the pleasure to work with Miss Mindy Griffith every day, and I would like to introduce her and the West Jackson Middle School 6th grade band, along with their conductor, Miss Mindy Griffith.
So as you can see on stage, we have several different types of instruments and several different instrument families. So at the beginning of the year, when everyone comes to me and they are telling me what they think they might want to play, in my mind, I also have to think about what would create a balanced, beautiful band sound. Because what you're hearing right now is all of these different instruments working together at the same time to create one beautiful sound. So we have to have all those instruments present to be able to do that. And we want to show you all of the different instruments that are in our band. And the first group that's going to play for you is going to be our awesome flute section. So flutes, show us your flutes. These are flutes, 2 hands on the instrument. There we go. That was expensive. Okay. And then we have one oboe player, Miss Eitzel. Eitzel, show us your oboe. Fantastic. And this group is a woodwind group, and they have the melody a lot of the time. Flutes and oboes are in the higher pitched instruments. So they're going to play their first pass off in the book, number 14, Rolling Along for you. Biased, but I am a flute player, so I love the flutes. Good job, flutes. Our next group is going to be our clarinet. I affectionately call them the clarinet army. Clarinets, show us your instruments. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, there's a lot of clarinets. Okay, thank you guys. Clarinets are also in the woodwind family. They have a little bit of a lower sound, a little bit of a darker sound, and they make their sounds using a reed. So when your kid comes home and they tell you that they need reeds and you're not sure what that is, if they don't have a good quality reed, it's really hard to produce a good quality sound. So they are reed instruments as well as saxophones and oboes and bassoons. And they are going to be playing number 25 in the book, which is called Lightly Row. Okay, next up we have our alto saxophone. Stand up, guys. Show us those instruments. All right, so most of us have seen, thank you guys, most of us have seen a saxophone before. You'll find these oftentimes in jazz band. They're very notorious for playing jazz music, and these guys in our band serve the part of like a counter melody, so they don't often get the melody you would recognize, but they get a supporting line. And they also make sound using a reed. So they are a woodwind instrument, even though they're made of brass, because of that reason, because they have a reed on their instrument. So saxophones are going to be playing number 31 for you, a Mozart melody, and I think you will recognize this one. And our last feature for right now is going to be our French horn section. French horn, stand up. Show us that instrument. Thank you, guys. That is one of my favorite instruments in the entire band. I love the French horn. I love its sound. I love its tone. The trick with French horn and what makes it so difficult is that the partials, meaning all the different notes and where they live, are very close together. So these students have to have a really good ear. They have to be able to hear things before they play them. And we're still developing that in 6th grade and even in 7th and 8th grade. So they have been rock stars. They have been so patient, but it is a very difficult instrument to start on. The flute, which is what I play, I'm sure my band director knew I did not have a good ear because he put me on the flute and he said, that'll work. When I push the buttons, the sound comes out, right? For them, they could push the button, but the sound may not be the right one if they don't have the right ear and the right embouchure behind it. So a very tricky instrument. We're very proud of these guys. They're going to be performing number 21 in the book, the whole thing. And next on our program, we will be performing Up on the Housetop for you, and Mr. Chandler Dickerson will be conducting this one. So hopefully, after hearing some of the individual instruments and then hearing them all together, maybe you were able to pick out and say, oh, okay, yeah, I kind of do hear that group, or yeah, I do hear this tone and the difference that it makes. And as your student continues in band, the more difficult their literature gets, the more that we expose those parts and really take advantage of the different colors and different sounds that each instrument can produce. So that's why we need all of them. Every single one of them is important. Every single one of them is a starter every single day. Like, we need all of these kids. And we're very grateful for all of them. So we're doing some more features. Our next group is the trumpet. Trumpets, show us your instruments. Maybe stand up. Yeah, I don't want you. Okay, that's fine. They can see it. All right, thank you, trumpets. So trumpet, in my opinion, is probably one of the more versatile instruments, meaning they can play in jazz band. They're a huge, huge part of marching band and drum corps. They play in every type of band that there is. There's a specific brass band that trumpets play in, and they are melody instruments. So anytime that we have a piece of music, you can pretty much count on the trumpets are going to have the melody at some point, and they are a higher pitched brass instrument in that family. So their show and tell for you is going to be number 23, March Steps. Next we have our trombones and our bassoons. So we have 2 bassoon players in the band. I don't know where they are. Oh, I see them. Okay, so they're on the if you're looking at them, the right side, and they have those little white circles on the top of their instruments. They look kind of like a noodle. Those are our bassoons. And the bassoons have a very interesting color that adds to the band. So bassoons, can you just play your first note, number 18 for us? And both of these ladies are also taking private lessons because bassoon and oboe as well are difficult instruments to master at the beginning stages. So these guys are taking private lessons with some really awesome folks who can definitely play those instruments. And the bassoons are going to be playing with our trombones. So trombones, show us your instrument. Yeah, there we go. We got a lot of trombone fans in the house. That's right. Who knew? Okay, our trombones are a little bit lower pitched than the trumpets, and they're also in jazz band, also in marching band. They also get to take part in all of those things. And they're famous for the wah, 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 wah. Right, that's the trombone. And they're going to be playing with the bassoons for their feature number 18 in the book, Go Tell Aunt Rhody. Next up, we have our tubas and our euphoniums. Stand up, guys. Show us those instruments carefully. All right. Okay, thank you. You're scaring me. So our tubas and euphoniums make up the foundation of our band. They are the lowest pitched instruments that we have. This year we had a very unique problem in that we had so many kids that we just ran out of tubas. We just ran out. I had never had that happen before. So our amazing band booster organization, the one that we fundraised for, was able to purchase us some new tubas that our kids could take home and practice. So if your student is a tuba player, they should be able to take a tuba home now to have it home and practice because our band boosters were able to help us with that. And these guys are going to be performing number 17 in the book, which is Hot Cross Buns. I equate that to your favorite song if you just turned the bass all the way off, and it would sound kind of weird. That's what would happen if we did not have our amazing tubas and euphoniums. So they play a huge role in our band sound, and they are rocking it back there. Our last group that we are going to feature is our percussion section. So percussionists wave at us. Okay, percussion's in the back, and they play a little bit of everything. So sometimes they play on the mallet instruments, and sometimes they play on the battery instruments, the bass drum and the timpani and the snare drum. And sometimes they play on the stuff that makes weird, cool sounds that make the song sound better. So percussionists do a lot of different things that we ask them to do. And their feature is going to be number 42 in the book. This one's a little bit advanced. A lot of them haven't passed this one off yet, but it was a challenge for them. So we wanted to push them a little bit further. And number 42, Skip to My Lou, is their feature. So our last thing on the program is going to be a song entitled Hard Rock Blues. The kids really like this one. This one is really fun. Before we do that, just a couple of different things to make sure that everyone knows. The next concert where we're all together again for 6th grade is not until the end of the year. It's not until May. And by the time you hear them again in May, they will be ready for 7th grade. They will sound like they're 7th graders. In between now and then, the kids who I think are enjoying bands the most right now, and the kids who are maybe experiencing their most success right now, are the ones who are finding 15 minutes a day to practice. Now, sometimes 15 minutes a day isn't doable, but maybe an hour on the weekends is. And this is one of those things, they cannot be truly successful if the only exposure they get to their instrument is with me during school hours. So if your student is struggling to find some time to practice that instrument at home, if you would help them and encourage them and find them a place to practice, my parents made me go outside. They said, we can't handle this, go outside. That's fine, go outside. Maybe not when it's raining, because that's bad for the instrument. But outside is okay, the basement is okay. They know that you love them, and you will like to listen to it when it's a little better, that's okay. But they do need to practice. And the students that are also doing the best right now are considering and already enrolled in private lessons. If you have a student that loves band and this is their thing, I'm going to send home some information about taking private lessons with professional musicians on their instruments. That's a great investment. That puts them, for things like district honor band, it puts them ahead of the curve, and they get some great musical experiences if they're able to get some private instruction. So those things will be coming if you are interested in them. And as always, please make sure you are enrolled in our Remind class, because that is where all of our information comes through, and Infinite Campus emails as well. So once again, I want to thank you guys for being here and for encouraging your students. There's a full house in here right now, and it's really wonderful to see. They're gonna remember this forever, playing for their first live audience. So thank you so much for everything that you do. And at the end, I will dismiss them by row. So if you would like to come get a picture, as I'm sending them off row by row, if your kid is in the back, you will probably have a better photo opportunity once I get some of the first rows off. Thank y'all so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your night. This is Hard Rock Blues.